So when you think of Johann Sebastian Bach, you probably picture him, right there with Vivaldi and Handel, the big names of the Baroque era, right? A true giant, for sure. But what if that whole way of looking at him is kind of missing the point? Today, we're going to dig into a pretty radical idea, that Bach wasn't just writing music. He was writing something much, much more fundamental.
Here's the core thesis we're exploring, and it's as simple as it is profound. The idea is that Bach wasn't writing music in the way we usually think of it. He was actually charting the very structure of the world, using sound to reveal its deep-down order and its unbending logic. So you've got these two ways to see him. On one hand, you have the standard biography. He's one genius among many. And that's fine. It's factually correct. But then there's this other idea, what some might call the deeper truth, that he wasn't just composing, he was documenting the physics of existence, translating the world's essential blueprint into musical notes.
And this gets us to this incredible concept of inevitability in his work. I mean, when you really listen to a piece by Bach, every single note feels like it's the only note that could possibly come next. It's not predictable in a boring way, it's just correct. It has this deep internal logic. It's like the music is on a set of rails, following the one and only path it can take from start to finish.
Okay, so you hear all this, and you probably imagine a guy living in some pristine, spiritual bubble, right? How else could you create work that's so perfect? Well, the reality couldn't have been more different. Let's take a look at the massive contrast between the man's life and his work.
His day-to-day life was, well, it was messy. It was difficult. It was completely ordinary. This was a working man. He raised children, and heartbreakingly, he buried some of them too. He was a teacher dealing with students who wouldn't listen. He was an employee who had to fight with his bosses on the town council. I mean, nothing about his life was grand or perfect. And honestly, that just makes the perfection of his work even more astonishing.
This quote just nails the difference in his method. Think about it. Most composers add layers. They decorate, they embellish, they try to enhance an emotion. Bach does the exact opposite. He strips everything away to show you the fundamental structure underneath it all, the spine beneath the flesh. His music isn't an act of ornamentation, it's an act of revelation.
And this is probably why people who say, "Oh, I'm not into classical music," can still be completely stopped in their tracks by him. His music doesn't really ask for your opinion. It doesn't care if you like the genre. It just sort of bypasses your personal taste and speaks directly to your nervous system, to that deep part of you that recognizes order when it hears it.
Now, I know this can all sound a little abstract, so let's ground it in a really powerful story, a personal experience that makes this whole idea just click. It's like the emotional proof for the entire argument.
So picture this. The year is 1977. We're inside York Minster, this absolutely massive, ancient cathedral in England. And the person in this story is a 7-year-old kid, just trying their best to be invisible, hiding out behind a giant stone pillar. And then the music starts. There's no big fanfare, it's just a lone cellist. And all you hear is this single, simple, clear line of sound that starts moving through the vast, cold air of the cathedral, a quiet intrusion.
And this single line of sound did something amazing. It wasn't just noise that washed over you. It actively found a way in. It's like it located that one small, hidden part of yourself that you try to keep guarded and locked away, and it just slipped in, without any force at all.
And the feeling? Well, it wasn't some huge emotional breakdown. It wasn't a flood of tears or anything dramatic. It was something much more subtle and much more profound. It was like a rusty hinge on an old door, just slowly, quietly easing open. A gentle realignment inside.
And in that moment, the core truth of it all became crystal clear. The great gift of Bach's music isn't that it's beautiful, though it is. It's that it feels correct. And when you bump into that kind of profound correctness when you're least expecting it, it feels like nothing short of a revelation. So that experience gives us the emotional what. Now let's try to unpack the intellectual how. What exactly is this inevitable line? And how does it work its magic?
So this inevitable line is basically a form of musical logic so pure that it actually teaches you how to listen to it while you're listening. It mirrors the fundamental structure of the world, and in doing that, it wakes up the part of your own mind that's built to recognize and respond to that kind of accuracy, to truth.
Okay, now here's a really provocative idea, one that goes against almost everything we're taught about music. The argument is, Bach wasn't trying to express his own emotions. He wasn't sitting there trying to tell you how sad or how happy he was.
Instead, he did something far more powerful. He didn't express emotion, he organized it. He created the mathematical, logical framework, the grid through which our own messy, complicated human feelings could suddenly be understood and fall into alignment. He provided the map, not the destination.
And this comparison really just lays it all out. While other brilliant composers were often writing beauty, Bach was writing correctness. Where they created drama, he built structure. And while they might offer you comfort, Bach gives us something much more stark, and maybe more essential: clarity. All of this brings us to the final, crucial question. If this music is so impersonal, so structural, so mathematical, then why does it feel so profoundly personal to so many of us, for centuries?
It really is the central paradox, isn't it? How can something that seems so detached from individual human stories connect so deeply with our own individual selves? And here's the answer, and it's a beautiful one. He isn't speaking to your biography, your personal history, your memories, your heartbreaks. He's speaking to your geometry, to the fundamental underlying structure of what makes you you.
And what is that geometry? Well, it's that deep-seated part of us that instinctively knows alignment when it hears it. It's the part that just aches for things to make sense, to have coherence in a chaotic world. And it's the part of you that feels this profound, incredible sense of relief when something so true and correct comes along and gently rearranges you from the inside.
And that's really the key takeaway here, that feeling you get when you listen to Bach, that internal shift. It isn't just sentimentality, it's something way deeper. It's an act of recognition. A hidden part of you is recognizing itself in the music's structure. So we'll end on this thought. Bach didn't just write music, he wrote a system of truth that seeks out and connects with the truth inside us. So if his music moves you, maybe it's not because you found it. Maybe it's because its inevitable, coherent line has finally found you.